Yo,
What up?
Secret House. Secret House again.
Secret house with no opinion on.
Welcome to us, Tokyo-based hip-hop art and culture conversations. Conversations about independent, underground, abstract, avant-garde, experimental, other types of hip-hop. Mostly just hip-hop. But yeah, we're starting this review off a little bit like, hey, we've recorded 3 already.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It's also Sunday, a little different. Also, we've been having a rough week with some of our heroes being publicly... But we'll get past that. Shout out to Francis Ngannou.
Shouts out to Francis Ngannou. Shouts out to Sean O'Malley. Like, I think I'm a fan now.
I've been a fan. Actually, we just
I like
Cheeto.
Sean O'Malley. I respect his skills and everything, but that was a clinic. That was very impressive.
Incredible performance. We was watching MMA. You know the vibes. Today, though, we're here to talk to y'all about the collaborative album between Oneshotonce and Driveby, 6-Wheel Drive. 8 songs, 12 minutes. It's basically an EP, and that's why we put this together for y'all. It's our introduction to the artists here. So this released at the end of last month on Leap Day. I don't know, like 28th, 29th of February.
28th.
But yeah, from the Bandcamp, here goes a little snippet for you. It says 6-Wheel Drive is an apocalyptic era of rhymes and instrumentals, where Oneshotonce and Driveby travel through a time of despair and bad faith. The duo represent a raw and aggressive project for those who demand veracity and fidelity, with Oneshotonce's explicit lyrics and Driveby's experimental beats, with collaborations such as our guy, Fatboy Sharif, friend of the show. Check it out. We usually have his album reviews on the day that they come out. He's been doing that for us. Also, Lungs, Lone Sword, who's super dope, Roper Williams, Benji, Socrates, and St. James. The two have produced a project for those who are unhindered by society and the industry standard, rolling through anyone who stands in their path. 6-Wheel Drive. The album cover is really dope. Here it is again for you. And yeah, so now let's discuss how we're familiar with these artists. I just said we weren't, but
Yes.
let's tell them again.
So to elaborate, I'm not.
Okay.
First time.
Okay, yeah. I this is a first for me as well. Oneshotonce is a New Jersey MC rapper artist from, I think, Hoboken. He's cadre with and homies with the acclaimed and well respected, also incredibly talented producer Roper Williams. They released some projects earlier last year, perhaps Hatch Caviar, maybe a year before. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't put that in the notes. But also, it's this album is produced by his cousin Driveby, who also has some collaborative projects with Roper Williams, who we all know is just being incredibly dope. Yeah, it got features from, you know, the underground stalwarts like Fatboy Sharif, Lone Sword, and yeah. As far as how I know him, I just don't. Let's get right into it.
How did you find out about this record?
Maybe it was on the new releases because Lone Sword or Fatboy Sharif are on a track and it pops up if you know what I mean. So we're both big fans of them and Roper. So yeah, this was a pleasant and lovely find. Let's get into our thoughts on the album.
So some of you who watched the show might remember that I included Feek and Lungs, Another Planet 4 as one of my favorite albums of last year. And if that album is Another Planet, this EP or this album is Our Planet. I feel like it is a very nice kind of counterpoint to that record. They do share similar vibes. They're very kind of sparse and apocalyptic, but at the same time teeming with life. You know, some really like lightning fast, aggressive, like, frenetic kind of flows over the top. And some really like vivid imagery as well. You know, we paint some very interesting pictures throughout the record.
Yeah, I as an MC, I'm feeling Oneshotonce. I think that he fits squarely in the lane with like a lot of other artists who come from this kind of East Coast, like newly emerging tradition of this type of like beat rap approach. It's very contemporary, and I think you can compare him to a lot of people, but his style does have its own idiosyncrasies and different approach with the rhyming. I tend to enjoy him when he's rapping at a kind of little bit of a faster tempo, but he's always got something really dope to say. He's always styling well enough. He's not a super crazy craftsman's with like the inter-rhymes or overuses of poetic devices, but he's really fucking dope. And on top of that, I think that he's got a really dope voice too. As far as the production goes, I think that this is I was really impressed by Driveby. First off, the album sounds well mastered. It sounds
Yes.
good. Aloud, it sounds good on the headphones. The voice cuts through where it needs to, and then other times they kind of let it sit. They're a little bit more muddied, I think, for an aesthetic vibe, because the tracks that are well produced are clear as you'd
Clear
want
as
them to
day,
be. Also, there's I think Driveby has an incredible ear for sampling. It's a little bit different than a lot of other cats. You know what I mean? They both have their unique kind of contributions to the culture. And as much as I complain about a lot of other cats who sound derivative, I didn't walk away from this project feeling like either of them were. I think that they're a little bit unique. On this album, there's like a overall theme of not really an overall theme, but they do lean into some kind of like more noticeable or accessible pop cultural touchstones. Like the first song, Crying Monkey Award, has the Robert Downey Jr. In fact, let me just put some of those beats on the background to give you guys a little bit of a different, just like, we don't care if we get demonetized or anything like that. So I'm just gonna put them on in the background for you. But this Crying Monkey Award, which is one of the kind of more sober.
You the dude playing the dude disguised as another dude. Think shit was all fine, had horizontal spines when the rug was removed.
No, it's dope. We know that from like Tropic Thunder, you know what I mean? But there's also songs on here called like The Bums Lose, which I think is like a throwback to The Big Lebowski.
Okay.
The Bums Lose, Lebowski.
What?
Yeah, and there's a few other like points like that on the album. Dash to Axel, I think that's like Death Proof vocal sample from Kurt Russell driving the girl where he's a stunt dude and kills her. So there's some there's some points on there that are really kind of like familiar, but I do like the album overall. The reason that I really hold on, let me just get into it. But like, see this piano loop with synth and vocoder thing that they got going on here? It's pretty dope and interesting. It's a little bit strange. The incorporation of Robert Downey Jr. sample is really dope. And he says shit like, I'll buy a Basquiat before I buy a home. Mm-hmm. I kind of respect it. I kind of like the vibe. I like that approach. But the reason that I heard this and was like, all right, we might as well just do it, because Chariot Rims, the second song on the album, really spoke to me. I thought that the beat was dope. And I like One Shot Once's his kind of flow and meter on this, and kind of that hurried, frenetic approach that you were talking about. Not really like, it's not towards like Feek and Lungs that fast, but it is definitely with a sense of urgency. But I just like this beat.
It like occupies a lot of space on the beat.
Yeah, but this is dope. It's only 12 minutes, so I'm not going to get into it much longer. If he releases a full-length album, maybe we'll touch on it a bit more, and really try to get into some of the deeper themes that he's trying to express here. But overall, it's just a really incredible rap album, a really dope rap album that has some great features, some great production, some great MCing, and
Yeah, we're fans.
Which ones do you like the most on this?
Chariot Rims, Gravel Prescription, Deku.
Okay. Let me get back to my notes here, but I know Chariot Rims is definitely there. Omi one is really dope, and Deku is really dope. Some of these beats are incredible, man. Like the shit with Lungs and Lone Sword.
Yep.
Yeah, like that's like another one of those New Argoon beats. It really sounds. And maybe that has my favorite verse from One Shot One on the album, and the same thing with Gravel Prescription. It's like a Dark Knight street lamp type of beat, And
the whole thing has this kind of like Tank Girl, like Jamie Hewlett kind of vibe to it. It's like a punky, post-apocalyptic.
Not quite Mad Max, a little bit more zany, like the first Judge Dredd movie, a little bit goofy veneer of the future retro type of.
Even the cover and the title, just like the idea of these guys like driving this big like modified 6-wheeler with like the big fucking like spiked shield on the front and a giant machine gun rocket launcher on top. Like it's got a bit of that like absurdity to it. It looks like a G.I. Joe car or something.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it has that grittiness. It has that dustiness. There's a degree of like
I'm glad you brought that up.
Like Super Jail or something, going on to it as well. It's kind of like a little gross at the same time.
When you brought that up, it really reminded me like this track, Omi one. Like this beat sounds like a crazy Tonka truck assembly line. It has that kind of like a little bit of everything you just said about it.
Playful.
And that beat is like, this is. But at the same time, he also produce the beats that really meet where Lungs and Lone Sword live. Oh, I keep on saying
Lungs,
and.
Lone Sword. Yeah, he's
where,
the same
where
person.
Lungs lives and where Fatboy Sharif live, but at the same time, it's not derivative of sounds that you've heard them on before. It's a variation to let them meet One Shot Once on it. And this shit right here, which doesn't have a feature, is another testament to his kind of variety and his approach. This shit is weird and wonky and unusual. Shit is crazy to say, like, you, if you a fiend, you a fan. Like, he's dope. All right, man. That's good. We gonna get to it. Yeah, we're gonna get out of here, man. We appreciate you guys. Chariot Rims, Omi One, Deku. I know you did yours, but can we just do it again since we're at the end?
Yeah. What did I say?
Cherry
Cherry
Rim.
Rims, Gravel's Prescription, and Deku.
All right, yeah, man. Peace. Secret House Against.
Secret House.
All of their information is in the bio, so you guys can go support. Not all of it, but the Bandcamp is in there. Google the names, find the Instagram, follow the Twitter accounts, support local independent hip hop music, read musical theory, Roundhouse Kick Cops, and show a collection of records.
Hey.
You gotta say fuck the alt-right one of these again. Are we not bringing that back?
Shouts out to the lanky striker meta that we saw today. You know, MVP Sean O'Malley just showing like, yeah, sometimes you got to just be real long.
Yeah.
Got to be a long guy.
Yeah, that's definitely meta right now. Peace.